Cool. Right, today on 12 Yards Out, happy to be joined by a Scottish football legend and John Hughes. John, how are you?
Not bad. How are you guys? All right?
Good, thanks.
Aye, getting there. Obviously, we're
So,
trying.
before we start, I'm on with a Motherwell supporter and a Rangers supporter.
Aye.
Oh yeah.
This could be quite interesting.
So what have we got? You're Celtic, aren't you?
Well, John's a Hibs.
Are you a Hibs guy?
I actually started off as a Celtic supporter up to the age of about 14. And the reason being, I used to go and watch them. I used to get shown at Falkirk because I played on a Sunday. But when I got to the age of 14, we started playing on a Saturday. So the only place I could go was Easter Road. And that's when I switched allegiance. So become a Hibs supporter for the age of 14. And all my family and cousins and all that were Hibs supporters. So born, bred, leafer. So that's where my allegiance lies right at this moment.
Well, the thing is with that is it's really easy to craft a half and half scarf with a Celtic and Hibs colours. Sort of get away with the two of them. So I mean, you're good there. Know what I mean?
That's right. Good to go.
Hibs have been I've quite liked watching Hibs under Jack Ross. To be fair, I think obviously Paul Heckingbottom's spell was perhaps a bit rocky, but they seem to be doing all right now under Jack Ross.
Well, to be fair to Paul Heckingbottom, I thought he might have got a bit of a raw deal. I thought his team player. I've seen him a few times, and they started off the year before they went into that new season. They were really good. And when they come back for the season, it just started dipping a little bit. And I felt it might have just given them a little bit more of a chance. It was a little bit disappointing. But the thing about Hibs is what I got brought up on, and Celtic, is you have to play good football. The Hibs team I went to watch, Pat Stanton and Crockley, are way back. Real good football teams. And it's the same with Celtic. So, and as you say, Jack, Scotland playing some nice football. It'll be interesting to see how they go when we pick up again, because you've lost 3 or 4 players. Money's going to be tight. I don't know if there'll be a budget to bring any players in. So you might have to go with what you've got. But that'll be the same for every club. It'll be a strain on every club. So it'll be interesting to see how teams will pick up again going into the new season. What players will bring to the club, what revenues available, because I see Rangers are probably the only ones that are banging the drum right at this moment to say that they're looking to bring players in, and they're going to have to if they want to stop Celtic winning 10 in a row.
See, to be fair, obviously talking about Mull have probably been another one that have been quite proactive in the man. They've signed 4 or 5. There's something else. We were talking about Aberdeen have obviously got Johnny Hayes. Johnson have still signed a couple of players. To me, at least, it feels like as life starts to get back to a wee bit of normality, for some clubs at least, obviously it's different for depending where you go, but some clubs seem to be going towards like a normal summer, just in terms of their transfers and whatnot. Obviously, things could change just as the situation, but situation probably isn't as bleak as it was perhaps painted 6 weeks ago. People are able to prepare a bit more firmly.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and it's nice to see. We're all just hoping, no matter what. I'm tuning into the football, to the English Premiership, and I'm still trying to get my head around the atmosphere with no supporters there. But I'm so delighted that we're back watching football. Absolutely delighted, and I'm seeing some good stuff. And the way they've done it with the audio and the fans, and it's like they're there. Sometimes you get immersed in the game and you forget that the fans are not there because of the audio system they're using, and it's great. So I'm just hoping Scottish football, we need a wee injection. We need to get back playing. We could do with a real heavy investment, real good money, something like a real good money for Sky or someone else and that. But we always punch above our weight in Scotland, and it's never to be knocked at. I think that a lot of the clubs do a lot of good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, I'm here to talk a bit about your illustrious career in the game. Obviously, what was I'm perhaps a bit too young to remember what you were as a player.
Oh, I very much remember peak Yogi.
So, what was peak Yogi like then? If James has put it so eloquently.
It was brilliant. it was a real character. It was, I think, particularly at that time in Scottish football, there was a lot of guys that were just no dull, but they were kind of no willing to put themselves out there as much. Whereas the big fella here seemed to have no problems with that.
Aye, especially when I done the streak with Mo Johnston.
Exactly.
Is that what you're talking about? Putting yourself out there?
That's one of them. The one that always stuck with me as well was years ago when you were at Falkirk. I'd done a wee bit of coaching down there through Falkirk Council. And it was you driving into the training ground in at Little Kerse every day with a Hibs air freshener. And it always just killed me. I was like, that's just brilliant. That takes some balls to come into another club's training ground with a Hibs air freshener.
It's a great thing because you can talk about careers and what you've done and your highs and your lows and all the questions, who's the best player you've played with. But I always look back on football and say, I've been blessed to, not so much the highs and the lows, I've been blessed to meet so many good people in football and the characters. There's one or two tatties, don't forget, you go, oh, but you get that in any walk of life. But I've been really blessed to meet some of the great guys and characters in football and being in an environment where it's laugh-a-minute environment. It really is laugh-a-minute environment. Even in the hard times, you'll be in a dressing room and the spirit laughs its way to get through it. And I would, even before we start and really get into the depth, I'm telling you right now, I'm 55. I would start all over again at the age of 16. I'd give everything that I'd done in my career, I'd give it up to start all over again at the age of 16. I loved it that much. I loved it every minute of it. I loved it.
Mm-hmm. That was always something I picked up again, as I said. There was a point, I think we used to go to Grangemouth swimming pool in the winter for training.
Aye. You're
so I was a lifeguard there at the time, and it was a riot. It was an absolute riot. I remember once he's come down, and there was a story about Russell Latapy in the papers. A lassie had come out with a love child or something, and I got sent away to the shop across the road to go and buy every copy of the paper with this story in it, and they were all just left lying around for him.
That would be it. That's what I'm saying. Even anything that's serious, then the players find a way to get around it. But you're talking about Russell Latapy. I'm quite sure we'll talk about him as we go on. The guy was an absolute genius. But even going back to the Falkirk days, when I went in as a manager, we were like nomads because, as you say, we were training down at BP. We were all over the place. So it was a case of putting goals on top of a transit van and see where we could go and train. And the laughs that we had in that, we would be hitting the brakes, coming to traffic lights, and some of the kids would be sitting on the top. They would be hanging on for dear life. And if health and safety seen some of the stuff what we got up to, the minibus would stop at traffic lights. It would be rocking from side to side. I would be in my car at the back of it saying, the doors would open, bodies would be getting flung out, half clothed, and the transit van would drive away, go to training, you would get them running away, try to catch up. And that was just some of the stuff that went on, but real good fun. And even now, there's the photographer, when I was at Falkirk, that took all the photographs, because we're in the pandemic and we're in shutdown, he logged all the games. And he's putting all the games up, Dunfermline, Ajax pre-season. He's putting all the games up, all the photographs. And I didn't honestly, and I'm getting them sent to me, I didn't realise how good a team we were and how many good footballers. We were a right good football side at Falkirk. And it hurts me now to see where they are. They're not a first division club. They should be playing their football in the SPL.
We work quite closely just in our job with Falkirk, and you sort of get that sense that it's, you don't want to be disrespectful to other people in that league, but Falkirk are definitely a bigger team than those around them, and they were very hard done by to not obviously get the chance to fully push for the league title this year, just with the way the pandemic worked.
Yeah, it's the fan base. Even in the Scottish First Division, you'll still get 4,000 there, 3,000, 4,000 there, and if they're going well, you'll get up to 4,500. If you get that club back in the SPL where it belongs, then you'll get a home support at least 5,500, 6,000. And that's good enough. That should be good enough to keep your team in the SPL, because everything relates to what comes through the turnstile in terms of the money. And if that can get reinvested back in the team, but they'll get back there. I like what's going on at a lot of clubs in terms of young managers and young coaches getting a chance to go and coach. And 2 young coaches at Falkirk, a young coach at Dundee, and even I went in for the St Johnstone job. A little bit disappointed not to get it, but totally understand. I've got a fantastic manager who's St Johnstone. It's like me with Falkirk, who's a St Johnstone man. He knows what it's about. So, you know, you wish these guys, you have no bitterness or anything like that. You wish these guys all the best in their future, because it's a young man's game, and if they can come into the game and get success, only Scottish football will benefit for that.
I feel like we are sort of, especially in the last couple of seasons, like a period where the same faces were crotting up in Scottish football in terms of the managers, but I feel like now clubs are starting to be a bit more adventurous and a bit more, they're willing to put their bets on somebody that's perhaps a bit less experienced.
Yeah, what I'm finding is they're going with what they know, because it might be a coach for the academy or a coach that's taking the reserves. It doesn't always work, but what you do get is you've got that consistency, and they know their clubs. And a lot of these guys, because they're taking the reserves team, they've got no qualms in putting the young kids in the first team. And that's the future of any club, is get your kids in. If you can produce, like Motherwell, I don't know how many homegrown young players are in the Motherwell first team. If you can get the blend right, but get the kids coming through the academy and get them into your first team, then you'll win a watch. You really, really have. And if you can sell them and move them on, which you should be wanting to do, because the next one coming through is just as good. That's the whole conveyor belt, and you're doing a fantastic job. And, you know, just look at your job, your club, Motherwell. It's good to see that. When I was at the 2 clubs, I had good success at Falkirk. The last game I was in charge was the Scottish Cup final. And the thing that cheered me up most, although Rangers beat us 1-0, we had 5 kids, all from the academy, and 3 of them were starters, and Darren Barr, Scott Arfield and Thomas Scobie. It went on to have great careers. Arfield's still playing away with Rangers now. And then when we won the Scottish Cup with Inverness, it was the same again. We had 5 from the academy and 3 starters, which was Christie, Shinnie, Nick Cross was involved, Polworth, which now at Motherwell was involved, and forget the other one. And that's the success of a club. Saves you an absolute fortune, because these clubs, these boys just want to go and play football, and then they get success and they go on to bigger and better things.
Liam Polworth, just talking about him, like, obviously you've worked with him firsthand. When Mull first signed him, there was a bit of, he did quite well in the Championship, but could he sort of make that jump up to the Premiership? And I think like he was only behind James Forrest and Callum McGregor for assists in the top flight this year. He's been really a hidden gem, Mull, with him.
Yeah, he's a good kid. The problem I had up at Inverness, he was just behind Ryan Christie. When Ryan Christie brought on the scene, he sort of played in that same sort of position as Polworth, or Tansey and Draper, Vigers were my midfield. So he played it in and out, but he was just learning his trade. But fantastic footballer, fantastic trainer, real good professional, good lad. You couldn't say a bad word for him, and you take a little bit of pride to see his success. I honestly have to admit this. You'll not get a better footballer at Motherwell in terms of looking after the ball and playing a pass, you know, and he's very clever to pick up these wee spaces. But I thought it was a homeward. I honestly thought it was an Inverness boy, like a lot of them up there, and I thought it would have been a burden for him to leave, is what the Inverness boy says, down south when you come down, you know. But he settled in so well at Motherwell, and it's nice to see he's doing well. He's a lovely, lovely lad, and you can only wish him all the best.
Cool. Right, I'm gonna try and drag it back in time a bit to before I was born, sort of to your playing days. So it's always so odd.
I feel old constantly, so.
It's so odd. In my time, I've been doing journalism for a couple of years now. I have interviewed somebody that is younger than me twice. So still waiting.
There you go.
There you go.
Eh?
But aye, obviously, so you had some great highlights. Obviously, Falkirk was again sort of one of the bigger spells in your playing days. What was the sort of difference you found between playing for Falkirk and managing the club?
Well, Falkirk and managing, the hardest thing for me is I always wanted to go into coaching and management. I'd done my first coaching badge doing in Largs at the age of 25. And if there's any young coaches listening, go and get your coach's badge. If there's any young players listening, go and get your coaching badges. Makes you a better player. Makes you understand football. You think footballers just go out and play football. See, when you start doing the coaching and you have to draw up the training sessions, you get a better understanding of what the game's all about. So I would advise anybody, make sure you go and get your coaching badges. I done that. I got my first coaching badge at the age of 25. So I was always interested in coaching. And it come about that I come back to Falkirk at the age of 38, 37. Ian McCall was the manager. Ian McCall used to be, the two of us used to be teammates at Falkirk. And he was the manager, and he brought myself back, and Owen Coyle was already at the club. And we only had a squad of about 14, 15, a couple of young kids we struggling we could call upon. And we were doing really well in the first division. We were doing that well at Dundee United, come calling for Ian. And he was in a dilemma, should I go, should I stay, should I go, should I stay? And eventually he went to Dundee United. So the board were clever enough to say, well, there's nothing broken here, doesn't need fixed. Well, Owen and I just take care of the team. Owen and I put our head together and says, well, we're still playing every week, you're taking care of defence, I'm scoring all the goals. He says, we're still training, all we need is a coach to come in and all that stuff. So Owen worked with Brian Rice at Airdrie before he come to Falkirk. I know Brian Rice because he was a player, a teammate of mine at Falkirk. So we brought Brian Rice in and we just carried on, just playing away, easy. As I say, same team most weeks, and we won the league. At the end of that season, Owen went up to Dundee United with Ian McCall as a player coach. And then I got left on my own. I still had to apply for the job. I was grateful and thankful that they gave me the opportunity to become the manager. And then that's what I'm saying. You're nothing, anything you do in football will never prepare you for going into coaching and management. And what happened to me is we won the league that year when Owen went up to Dundee United. So we were due to go up to the SPL. And we got denied our rightful place in the SPL because we'd moved out of Brockville, we moved into the new stadium. And a team for Lanarkshire escaped to Gauntlet.
By the way, who knows? I mean, like Mull have sort of, after the administration at that time, sort of went from strength to strength with a few bumps in the road. But I don't know what the club would be like now. I mean, if they'd get relegated.
If it would, and yeah, exactly.
And
Because
similarly for Falkirk as well. I mean,
well, you see Falkirk. No. I mean, I've left now. As I say, they got relegated, and so many teams get relegated. You go, Falkirk they've been relegated again. You say, how is that possible? How is that possible? So it's true, if you're talking about football, you're saying to yourself, whoa, we escaped the bullet there, that's for sure. But once again, the criteria was the criteria. I felt Falkirk got let down by a lot of people, especially the SFA or the powers to be. It'd be wrong to me to point the finger at anyone unless I'm 100% correct. But the powers to be, we should have helped us a little bit more. Well, we tried to ground share at Clyde, and eventually we took our medicine and we moved to Stenhousemuir. Now, don't forget, this is not my first year in football, so we've not got promoted. We've moved to Stenhousemuir. I'm still playing with the boys. The budget, because we've not went back up to the SPL, been sliced. I then have to say something to my teammates, I've got nothing for you, because I've had to restart again. We're nomads. No training facilities, no offices, no got an office at Stenhousemuir, and it was very, very, very difficult for my first year. What a learning curve that way. And still being a player manager. Still trying to think that you can put the boots on and be the best player, and it was so difficult. And that year, but I'm so grateful and thankful that the board stuck by me, because we were working very hard. And then it did give me that first year, gave me an insight to what I had. The next again year, we moved into the Falkirk Stadium because we were in the first division. And then we were cruising at by Christmas time. You know, I sort of really built my own team. Latapi was the catalyst for everything that we were doing. And I had 2 strikers in the team. Darryl Duffy, we got from Rangers, he got let go from Rangers, who was electric, quite great goal scorer, and a boy called Andy Thompson. If you remember Andy Thompson, Queen of the South sold him down England. I don't know what club, I think it might have been QPR, I might be wrong, but on that money they built the new stand. Andy was, I've worked with some strikers, Andy was one of the best, he was magnificent. And if you ever get that time, you're putting your team together in that new season, you've got Latapi in the pocket behind the 2 strikers. We're getting into Latapi, he would turn, and they two's movement, they were like the red arrows. The movement, they were just natural. You couldn't coach it, and he would just slot them in. It was a pass off, here, there you go, don't break your stride. Wasn't it? Don't break your stride. And it was that sort of light bulb moment where you went, whoa, we're onto something here. And then, as I say, come Christmas time, we were cruising. Had the same problem. We're not going to get back into the SPL because we've not got the criteria. Just so happens there was a great Falkirk supporter called Sandy Alexander who'd sold his business, and he says, what I'll do, I'll build the stand behind the goal, meet the criteria, and we'll go and play our football in the SPL. And that's what they did. So we cruised to the title. And that team, we had momentum, and that was it. And that was us coaching in the highest level, managing in the highest level, winning that first division. I think it was 02, and then keeping Falkirk in the SPL for the rest of my time I was at the club, which was a challenge because you're up against the big boys, Rangers and Celtics and SPL, and we were beg, borrowing, stealing, ducking, diving. But what we were doing was, if you look at the teams that I built at Falkirk, we used every avenue possible to get players to the club. And as I say, if it was beg, borrow, steal, in terms of borrow, if you look at my goalkeepers, Casper Schmeichel, Tim Krul. If you look at my strikers, Anthony Stokes, borrowed for Arsenal. And the story goes when the first one that we signed, we got on loan from Arsenal, was a midfielder called Patrick Craig. It was fantastic for us. We played Celtic at Parkhead. We beat Celtic 1-0. Liam Brady, being Irish and looking after the academy at Arsenal, was at the game. And he hunted me down after the game. And I got to talk to him. He says, listen, you come and see me. He says, any young Arsenal player, he says, you're interested in, he says, there's a chance you might get them because of the style of football we played. So after that, we took, Craig was the first, we took O'Donnell, which was his sidekick. He was brilliant for me. We got Stokesy, we got Graham Barrett, all from Arsenal. Bradley, all technically good footballers. So the players that were bringing to Falkirk through that period of time, 5 years for getting into the SPL, you know, we were the envy of a lot of clubs. You know, you were talking to managers after the game and they're saying, how do you do that? What are you doing? But it's not sitting in your office. Every Tuesday after training, myself and Brian Rice would be in the car, we'd be away down south, watching reserve games, taking it in. And I'll tell you the story with Casper Schmeichel. We were looking for a goalkeeper. We were aware of the goalkeeper situation at Manchester City, albeit Casper Schmeichel. We looked at the budget. This is a true story. We had £1,000 in our pocket for a goalkeeper. We went down to watch Man City reserves. We seen Casper playing. After the game, Brian Rice says, right, come on, let's go. I says to Chipper, I says, you're the best mates with Stuart Pearce, who was manager at Man City at the time. We knew Stuart was at the game. He says, aye. And I twisted as he's going, you're going in the dressing room, go and get him. And to be fair to Chipper says, aye, no bother. Chipper went in, how you doing, Pearce? Pearce come out, he says, listen, Casper Schmeichel. He says, aye, he says, what a chance he's got. But Chipper says to him, you think, oh, he says, listen, he says, the story goes, he says, we fancy him, we're looking for a goalkeeper. He says, we've only got £1,000. Stuart Pearce says, not a problem. we'll take care of the rest of the wages. Not a problem. He says, as long as he goes up there and plays, I'll let you know in the morning. See, that afternoon, next to game day, Casper Schmeichel was up in Falkirk, ready to go. And I've never worked with a guy so more enthusiastic to get his work done. A work ethic was absolutely brilliant. And he just took the whole profile of the club up. And then that time as well, there was kids coming through like Arfield and Scobies and Darren Barr. And it was all just coming together. So it was 5 great years at Falkirk.
Do you think having the boys coming up for the likes of City and Arsenal helped your Scotty Arfields, your Darren Bars? Because they've had that kind of Premier League education as such, so it's helping kind of lift their standards.
100%. That's a big part. I was just, my best mate is John Collins, and he just left a couple of hours. The two of us are cyclists, so we're out cycling. They come back here for a cup of tea, and we're sitting talking about kids, how you produce kids, and I ask him on a question, and he says to me, when they all signed for Hibs at 16, they never went, although they were YTS and doing all the jobs, they trained with the first team. It wasn't like two separate, you train with the kids, you train with the first team, and you're looking over. They went right in and trained with the first team. So he says to me, after the first month, there was a wee bit trepidation and a wee bit of respect there for the first team. The second month, you're going shoulder to shoulder with them. The third month, you're trying to knock them off your perch because you're wanting a place in the first team. And that intimidation and that trepidation's gone. You just feel you're one of them. And he says, and to be fair to the senior players at Hibs, they embraced that. They took you on board because they wanted to play a part in your development. And then he says he had a manager in Pat Stanton that had the bottle to go and give the kids a chance. And that's where it all comes through. John Collins, Mickey Weir, Paul Kane, all these guys. And that, I was fully aware of what was happening at Falkirk. Get the kids in. As soon as Arfield, get them in, train with the first team, train with the first team. That's your education. And then many times I used to play young v old. And I was on the side, beat again. And there's the weeks for the young team, for the weeks go by, the young team, you could see them going, you're not getting beat. And I'd say to Arfield, play against Latapi, but I would say to Latapi, the young kids playing against you, give them a hard time. And Latapi would be nutmegging them, but Arfield kept coming back for more. And that's their education. And then when you bring in guys like Schmeichel and Krul, you're living the profile of the club, Stokes, the profile. And possibly the best one of them all is Graham Barrett. But Graham Barrett never, because he come with a knee problem and he could never get over his knee injury. But you could see his talent, and he never played as much as he could. Eventually, he had to retire because of his knee at a young age. But these guys, and you just went, and plus your dressing room, it's a real spirited dressing room. All of them competing with each other, but doing it in the right way, wanting the best for each other, and doing it in the right way. And that's what we had at Falkirk. That was the secret of Falkirk. And the standards and the demands that we put on them on the training pitch. I think, honestly say this, the 5 year I was at Falkirk, within that 5 year, that was a way back, man, 02 to, I think it was 07, it was 2005, I forget the years, but 5 years I was there. I think we were way ahead of the game and our mindset, way ahead of other teams and what we were doing. And I'll tell you the reason why. We ended up training in at Stirling University, which is a sports university. You're talking about Judy Murray, Andy Murray and all that. You're seeing these, well, not so much Andy, but you're seeing Judy on a regular basis coaching the kids tennis. The facility, you're seeing Olympic athletes walking past. We embraced everything that Stirling University could throw at us in terms of sports science, strength and conditioning. And it's something that John Collins done a podcast the other day and talking about the training methods in Scotland. You know, it should be morning, afternoon. That was a way back. We were training every afternoon. It was gym sessions or back on. They all had their gym program. We were doing strength and conditioning every afternoon. But we had the facility. You train in the morning, go and get a shower, go and get your lunch, go and get your rest, and we'll come back in the afternoon to do your gym session. And we were way ahead of the game and everything that we're doing, even right doing, as I say here, in recruitment. Some of the players that we were recruiting, real good footballers, that people are left scratching their head and saying, how do you get these guys here? And then, as I say, what we done for Stokesy, he come to me at 17, just as a kid. You didn't coach him. You didn't coach him because his movement was like Andy Thompson's and Duffy's, and Lakapi just kept playing him in. He scored 16 goals in 18 games. So it was a great time. It was a really, really good time. And even now, all the kids that were there, you know, all the messages come up, and we used to keep saying to them, you get everything you've got because this will be the best time of your life. And a lot of them have not made the grade, but they're all in the group chat and they're all saying, I remember that time, because it was hard work, but it was fun. Great fun.
There's one man you mentioned there that just gives me the utter fear every time I mention. Lovely guy, right enough, is Mr. Brian Rice. Like, honestly, like his dedication to football is just crazy. Like I would do. I was covering Ross County Celtic 12 o'clock in Dingwall, right, on a Sunday, middle of December. Aki's had played at like Kilmarnock the day before. I'm there at 10:30 to do like my notes and stuff. He's just sat there in the crowd. Like, first one there, it's like he's everywhere all the time.
It was the same when they played Falkirk, played Hearts. The copy was there as well. Remember, I think Aki's had played the 3 o'clock kickoff. He's jumped across to Falkirk and there he is watching the Bairns.
Right, that's it. But that's what we got brought up. It probably started with Jim Jeffries and Billy Brown, because they were in that ritual every Tuesday after training. They were down south. Now you're talking about getting back at 3 o'clock in the morning. We used to go down to Manchester United a lot. And although we never got many players for Manchester United, we used to go down there. I could tell you the team. Gerard Piqué played centre half with McShane. It went on to play for Hull City. But the jewel in the crown was a wee number 10 called Giuseppe Rossi. He was magnificent. Eubank Blake was up front. A boy called Fox in midfield. It went on to play for Blackpool. Bardsley played right back. And they were a fantastic team. And we were down in Manchester, but you could see them all. Used to go to Newcastle. But the thing about it is, we always got told, you make sure your secretary at your club letting Manchester United know that you're looking for tickets. Because the manager knows that if it's Sir Alex Ferguson, if they know that you've been down with tickets for Falkirk and you phone up to go and try and get a player, then you see that guy's doing his work. They're doing their work. And it's like Liam Brady. They're doing their work. They don't sit in the house. And that's what we've done. And it's like Brian, you're saying it is at Ross County. Brian's, one of his traits was, I used to say, oh, we'll take our time. No, let's get there first. And if we're 2 hours early, then we can go for something to eat. But we'll never be late if we get there first. And that's what we've always done. So he's a good boy, Chipper, a good boy. And it was a great foil for me. Only downside for Chipper was he never got the taste of the Scottish Cup final when we were at Inverness. It come a year later when Russell left. You know, because he deserved that. He deserved that. But I'm really pleased that he's went on his own and he's starting to make that name for himself in at Hamilton. He's known the Hamilton boys since way back in the day at Falkirk. He's known the Hamilton boys, so he's in a good place and he's working with good guys.
I know he proper involved himself with that club. Like he was talking to us, like one presser, like he'd do a under 8s, under 9s session at night. He would go up and watch a Resi's game in the afternoon. He would take first team training, and it seems to be that what he explained it to me is that it's not just a club; it's a family type thing. So
now you don't forget, he then has to go and do 5 hours practice at the snooker because he's Steve Davis double, as you know.
I'm not saying that to him. He gives me a hard time as it is, but I mean, I can see
it. If you listen to this, you'll be on the phone saying, "No, come on, change your pattern. It's the same old stuff."
He'll probably just be giving me a slagging again, man. I was just like, usually because I'm like a wee young journalist, I usually get an alright time after managers. No with him. Every time I just get a pure firing off him.
He's a good lad, Chipper. He's a really good boy. And if you look at his career, he had a good playing career. But see, if I go back to recruitment, what I sort of touched on there, see our time at Falkirk, when Jim Jeffries and Billy Brown were the manager and they were off after a training session on a Tuesday down south. if you look at the players that Jim Jeffries brought to the club, left back, Tommy McQueen, he was in West Ham's first team. Kevin McAllister, Chelsea, Joe McLaughlin, Chelsea, Brian Rice, Notts Forest, Alec Taylor, Walsall, Simon Stainrod, QPR. So if you look at the recruitment that Jim Jeffries and Billy Brown did at our time at Falkirk, it was amazing, amazing. You could never imagine now that Falkirk could go and get someone out of Chelsea's first team to come and play. It doesn't happen. So it just shows you how times move and how football evolves.
Mm-hmm. And probably the biggest team you represented in your career so far is obviously Celtic in the 90s. What was it?
On the hoops.
No, you've got a half and half scarf out. I'm getting it delivered.
Oh, I know.
So how is it to sort of represent because I mean, no matter your allegiances to whatever club, when you get...
Well, Ben, what happened to me, and it's like any other kids, I played in a very, very competitive juvenile league. We never had the football academies that we had in my day. We were all juvenile. And we would all play for the school, all different schools. So you would play against the guys in the morning and we were playing them for your juvenile club in the afternoon. Mm. Any scout could come around and go, right, I'm taking A4. You could just go to the 4 or 5 top clubs in the juvenile. And all the juvenile coaches done the work for you for the professional clubs. I was in training at Hibs 2 nights a week, just about to leave school, and I'm saying, right, I'm going professional, I'm going at Hibs, along with Paul Kane, Keith Wright, all these guys. And when the time came, I never got it. So I missed the boat. So I had to, there was painting and decorating in the family, and I ended up being a painter and decorator. But a lot of kids that happened to, they give football up. Mm. They give it up and they lose interest and they feel... I'd used it as fuel. Not at the age of 16, at the age of sort of maybe 18, 19, where I said, listen, I can still make the grades here, because I was then playing junior football, playing with men's football, really. And I'm saying I could hold my own, I could still make the grades here. I had my father was a great football guy, and he was always working me. You need to, calm down, do this, you need to do that, you need to become a better footballer. So even at the age of 19, getting that information put into your head, you're trying to then implement it onto the pitch. But to miss the boat at 16, and then later on your career, for any young kid in Scotland to get the opportunity to go and play for any half of the old firm, and there's no getting away from it, the 2 biggest clubs in Scotland, Celtic or Rangers, to have that opportunity. And we're number 5 after some of the great centre-halves that played at the club. I'm talking about the one that lifted the Scottish Cup, God rest him, Billy McNeil. You look back and you go, wow, did I really do that? Mm. So to get that opportunity and to play with some of the players that I played with, I just, wow. And I look back now, and believe it or not, we're cleaning out the garage here, and I was just moving things about, and I just moved this, and it was one of my Celtic strip that was framed. And I just had a look at it. So there's wee mementos about the house that takes you back to those times, and you go, and it does nothing but goosebumps and a smile on your face to think back and go, wow. And you think, and this is a true story, you think that opportunity's gone once it's finished and your career's finished and you're away somewhere else. But it was only about 2 or 3 years ago I got the great chance to play in Henrik Larsson and who else was it? The testimonial. Mm, right. It was a community game.
Yeah,
and I got asked to play in there. It was a full house, 60,000 at Parkhead. So you're in there and you're playing with Henrik Larsson, who I never played with. I played with all the other ones. Playing with these guys, you'd see all the faces and all that stuff. More than a regret at Celtic was I never went there earlier in my career, and I never stayed longer. I would have stayed longer if my boyhood heroes club never come in for me Hibs. I had the opportunity to move on to other clubs, but I was going to stay put and fight for my place. But then Hibs come in, and I just went, that's the chance I've been waiting on to go and represent, Hibs. So when that chance come up, it was time for me to go. But that time they had signed Alan Stubbs, and he was got to play in my position, so I would have been right up against it. you know, to get a regular game. But I was up for the fight, done all my pre-season, you know, all that stuff, up for the fight. But then Hibs come in, and as soon as they come in, I was off.
There was some right good players at Hibs at that time, wasn't there, when you moved across?
It was Jockey Scott. Jockey Scott was one of the best coaches I've ever worked with. He had a fantastic, and something that stuck with me as well. Another coach that I had that I worked under, John Blackley. I worked under John Blackley. He come in and helped Jim Jeffries for a period. These coaches had a great habit. You see, when you're just wanting a little bit more, the balls were away, and you're champing at the bit. Come on, I want more, I want. And they just had it down to a T. Right, that's us. No, we've not done enough. That's us. Save it. The next game day, you were out there. And Jockey, John Blackley, these guys, they were brilliant. And Jockey knew the game like in the back of his hand. You look back now, as you do, you went into coaching and management, you've had ups and downs with one or two players, all that stuff. You look back now and I always sort of say to myself, especially being a Leaf boy, you know, all my mates are on the terrace and all that stuff. You look back now and you say, could have done a bit better, could have done a wee bit more for Jockey. Same with Jim Duffy, could have done a little bit more for him. You know, could have done a bit more, and you question yourself. And I think you question yourself because the club means so much to you. I'm no doubt there's other players that played for Hibs at the same time they me. It wouldn't even cross their mind. Could have done it because that's football. You know, you move on. But because it meant so much to me, and that's my hardest time in football. The year under Jim Duffy, the year we got relegated, it killed me. Absolutely killed me. And you question yourself, you blame yourself, and all that. Then you look back at it, what happened in the second half of the season or the last quarter of the season, Alec McLeish come in and couldn't quite keep us in the Premier League. So Jim Duffy lost his job, and then obviously Alec come in, couldn't keep us in it. But the next year in the First Division, you seen the club going places again because we were signing players like Latapi and Frank Soze, Dirk Leemans, Mixupata Linens, and you're saying, this is where we're going. So you look back as a coach and a manager that's worked with budgets, and you look back and you go, nah, you sort of say to yourself, right, Rod Petrie was just sort of coming in. I think Jim Duffy was his first manager in charge of Rod running the club. And I don't think Jim Duffy got the budget he deserved. When he talked with Alec played him a little bit different. And you can see with the kind of players that we were signing, Alec must have got a better improvement on his budget. And it does make a massive. If you got a better budget and you can afford a better classy player, then it certainly helps. That's for sure. And that's what was happening at that time at Hibs. And Alec was he was a manager. He was a boardroom manager. He knew how to play the game. He knew how to get players. And I'll tell you a story about Alec McLeish. Alec McLeish could train on the training pitch in amongst the first team boys and be the best player on the training pitch. He was magnificent. And he was ruthless in the way he conducted himself. He would maybe get someone's eyes fixed on somebody and he would hammer them. And I can remember coming back from training one day, and he was great, Alec. He was absolutely magnificent. And I says, Gaffer, being the captain, I says, Gaffer, I says, you were awfully hard on a certain player, you know, you were awfully hard. And he would say to me, he says, Yogi, see if he cannot handle me on a training pitch, he won't be able to handle Parkhead and Ibrox when we have to go there and get a win. And I'm sort of saying, and I says to him, where did that come from? Sir Alex. Strong characters, every one of them. If you look at that Aberdeen team that Sir Alex had, McLeish, Muller, Young Cooper, Eric Black, McMaster, Rugby, strong character. Simpson, not one of them. Mark McGee, not one. Every one of them. You go in their company, and you get in their company, and the stories that they tell, and they could handle it. So that tells you get that kind of strong character in your dressing room, they'll go and win you the game. Look at Sir Alex's team doing at Man United when eventually got it. The characters and these guys. And once you get that, you just go and police it. You know the rules, police it. And they take care of the dressing room. And that's something that I picked off Alec McLeish. I picked that up in that way and all that, and sort of try and manage up the way into the boardroom and all that stuff. It's something that I wasn't great at, but it's something that I realised that you had to do that. I was more a players manager, more a, if I say, a socialist in terms of if the players were fighting for better bonus money, I was on the players' side. And it's only now through experience you say, listen, you have to be the one in the middle. I was more on the players' side, my players, this and all that. But it's just picking up all the habits of these managers. And great times, really, really was great times. And worked with, as I say, worked with some great managers. Even Jim Duffy, great guy. I know he just had the heart attack and I wish him all the best. Really good, honest boy. More a players manager than the other manager. Right in it ways and all that stuff. And I just felt he should have got a little bit better, a little bit more crack of the whip just to try and get success.
One of the players you mentioned there was Frank Sosie. How good was he? Because I don't think he kind of gets the credit he deserves nowadays. I've seen something recently, it was like the top 10 players that played in the Scottish Premiership that didn't play for Rangers or Celtic. Not even to mention him, which blew my mind.
Well, see, before you go on as about a footballer, as Frank is a footballer, the first thing to go on about Frank is a human being. He was a gentleman, an absolute gentleman. And the thing about it, I get asked this question an awful lot, and it's an unfair question because when Frank come to Hibs, he was probably past his best, but what he had was still, as you say, still to be good enough in the top 10. No disrespect to Scottish football, in the top 10 players in there. Lakapi was hitting his prime. Lakapi was doing things on a training pitch. You go, but it was a team game. But Frank Sosie, wow, what a footballer! And that, I see every now and then clips in Marseille winning the European Cup and Frank in there, and he could play in a number of positions. The way he conducted himself, it wasn't a shouting and bawling, it was do it by action. This is how you do it, the way he trained, the way he conducted himself, the way he lived his life, or a quiet word, But I'll tell you what Frank loved. Frank loved the passion. The passion of the Scots guys. He loved the passion and what it meant. You could see him looking. You know, he'd come derby match, you'd see, you know, he'd no messing about Frank. And he'd just give you that nod if they say, quiet, you know, don't worry about me. Don't worry about me. And I can remember playing Hearts at Tynecastle in the Millennium Derby. And Hearts at the time were under Jim Jeffries and they were recruiting a lot of French players. But we were standing in the tunnel, you know, and you've got the focus on, and Frank's in the tunnel. You could see all the Hearts players and the Hibs, all the French players in the Hearts team, you know, basically coming up and bowing to Frank. He was a god, you know. We bowed to him as well. He was a god. And what a footballer he was. But as I say, that was a team that Alec was building. Guys like Sosie, Lakapi, Dirk Lehman, Mixu, what a player Mixu was. And the thing about it as well, and some unsung heroes, guys like Stuart Lovell, Stuart Lovell was a fantastic player, right wing, left wing, midfield, they scored goals, great guys. Very, very good time. And it was difficult. It was a difficult period when I left. You know, you feel that you've still got plenty to offer. But when you look back at it, you say, big Alec, you look back and I bump into Alec every now and then, and you look back and you go, man, you were spot on. You know, you had to keep moving the club forward and you were spot on. But you're at the time saying, what you doing? I've still got another couple of years in me. No, you've no. You think you have, but you've no. Saying that, I went to play for Ayr United and had 2 great years, took them to the League Cup final and Scottish Cup semi-final. Failed to get promoted, but there again, you think, all right, that's me leaving the Premiership. I'm going down to the First Division, away down to Ayr. They couldn't have looked after me any better. Come down, stay over on a Monday. And the players and the people that you get to meet, you know, old Harcourt, even the groomsmen, and your character and the laughs that you used to get. Old Dottie, his wife, and even the boy eventually, a couple of young kids down there, eventually when I went back into Falkirk, I took Neil Scally, who's assistant to Ian McCall. Partick Thistle. I don't know how they two run that club because the two of them are massive. Absolutely, Scarley's just as bad as him. But when I say a nutcase, funny, you know, one of these guys that will tell you a story and the story's about him and you say, and laughs at it and you say, I wouldn't even tell that story, but that's his humour, and you just go. And these two guys, Partick, I think they've been hard done by, but I wish them all the best.
Right, Ian McCall. Summing up Ian McCall for me is him walking into the room was in January. I think it was January. Partick Thistle jacket on and the Ayr United trackies on. That's it. I think there was a picture online as well. He basically, I don't know. He obviously really liked.
Are you serious here?
I'm being serious. There's pictures on.
It's a manager with Partick.
Right, aye, but he just moved from Ayr United, so obviously he liked the jacket. So what he'd done is he'd sewed the Partick Thistle badge over the Ayr United badge, but obviously it was a complete hatchet job because you could still see the outlines of the Ayr United badge on it. But then there was one day he just came in, he was just wearing Ayr United trackies.
Oh, he's some boy. Is the godfather one of my girls, Ian?
All right.
He was in that Falkirk dressing room, and I say that Falkirk dressing room I was in with Jim Jeffries, although I went on to bigger and better things, you know, and great things that you wanted to achieve in your career. That spirit and camaraderie that we had at that Falkirk. Oh, Brockville, I don't know if you remember Brockville.
I know.
Brockville was
I remember Brockville well.
Oh, it was a midden, wasn't it? It was, but it was our midden. It was ours. It was
brilliant weekend.
The spirit we had and the guys that we had, guys like Ian McCall and all that stuff. Well, you're telling the story there. Ian McCall would come in. You wear a trackie, right, or joggers. What do you wear on your feet? You wear a pair of training shoes. Like Ian McCall would come in on a Monday morning with the joggers on a pair of brogues. You're scratching your head. You're going. That's when he was in the Monday morning. Usually Monday morning was the dentist. I met the dentist. I'll tell you something about Ian McCall. What a wonderful footballer.
Mm-hmm.
Real good footballer. That left foot could go bad. Pass players, play a great pass. I've got a lot of time for Collie. A lot of time. And I think his club's been hard done by. So I just wish him all the best. I really do.
Obviously, back at Hibs as manager, the one game that'll obviously spring to mind for your time there is the 6 each game. Obviously, you'll be asked to death about the one comment we got on Twitter when we announced we were having you on. I thought was interesting was what was the first thing he said to Brian Rice after the 6th goal went in?
Wasn't it? It was Chipper pulled me after the 6-0. We were, actually, do you want to know someone? Well, we're going into the game at Hibs. The first half of the season at Hibs was magnificent. Every player I brought to the club, we were attack. That was it. Everything we coached, and that's where maybe we made a wee bit of mistake. I would reckon we coached 70-30. And when I say 70-30, it was 70% on the ball. We coached the ball. Get at teams. And the Hibs team of last year scored 51 goals as a team. Stokes, Riordan and Nishi, they scored 52 goals between the three of them that year I was here. So the first half of the season we were flying. And something happened, opposite the main stand at Easter Road, they took away the stand that got demolished. And the pitch went a little bit. No making excuses, but the atmosphere and the surface of the pitch, it hampered us a little bit. And then you get beat a couple of games and the momentum and the confidence. And you start picking up injuries. And that's what happens. When you're winning, there's no injuries. Everybody's flying, the momentum. I've been in football long enough. Most important, momentum, the confidence. And then when we're coming into we're still, the first half of the season was that good, what kept us in a place for Europe. We were up against your club, Motherwell, the two Sly Foxes and Craig Brown and Archie Knox. Two guys that should still be in football now. They should be running Scottish football. They should be sitting on a committee making decisions what's happening in Scottish football. That's another subject. Anyway, so we're going into the game and I'm saying to Chipper, what do you think? You think we should go there and just sort of shore up shop and play a different shape? And the two of us just looked at each other and started laughing. It's no our style. Go and play the attacking team. So we went in and says to the boys, listen, you know what's on the line, that European spot was nip and tuck between us and Motherwell. Let's go and have a go. Half time, just before half-time, we're winning 4-1, game over. Motherwell just scored before half-time, different team talk in the dressing room. But you're going in and you're saying, you're looking at the boys and you go, same again, boys, second half. You go to second half, 5-2, 6-2, you're going cruising. Went 6, I think it went 6-3, 6-4, and we made the substitution. We took, I think it was Riordan off, and we put a sitting midfielder in. It was Kevin McBride, Barra, that used to be at Motherwell. And we still couldn't stem the flow. The momentum and then swung. The whole game had swung. They had momentum. We were on the back foot while we were hanging on. And then obviously the equalising goal, what a strike that was for Jokovic. Was it Jokovic, wasn't it?
Yeah, Jukovic side.
Jukovic. What a strike that was. And you're saying, right, 6-0. Straight after the game, before we went in the dressing room, Brian Rice pulled me and said, listen, this is all about next week. We come here to get someone. We never got beat. Aye, it feels like a defeat, but we never got beat. It's all about next week. So when you go and speak to the press, make sure that's the message. We're away team, we come here, we got a point. It's a game we should have won, and that's it. And that's what I've done. The next game week, we beat Dundee United 2-0. I think Motherwell drew 3-all at Ibrox. We got the European spot. But if you listen to Craig Brown's press, being that Craig's brilliant, and he tries sort of, and all that stuff, and you just laugh about it now. But looking back on it, because it was 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years now, aye.
Looking back, and it was just last month, looking back on it, you're going, wow, what a game to be involved in. The emotions were all over the place. Highs, lows, pride in the way your team playing, disappointment in the way you're defending. But that's football. And I don't think in the history of the SPL, I don't think you'll ever get that. I think Hibs and Rangers no 5-0.
6-5. No, 5-0, aye, 5-0.
5-0, that's the one that's come close to it. And you see Lennon's reaction when he's doing the aeroplane. It's into the stand. That's what it does to you. But I take real pride in that time at Hibs. Although it was a shot and I felt I got hard done by in the end, I take real pride in the job that we've done. Because Rod Petrie's a hard man, a hard chairman to work for. Really is. Hard chairman. And sometimes you're working with your hands tied behind your back. But at other times you're looking back and you say, that brings out the best in me. Because you have to really coach and get the best out of the players and create a siege mentality. And if you look back at Hibs, through your bread and butter, I got them fourth, I got that European spot. And they never got that European spot again for a long, long time through the league until Neil Lennon come, 8 years after me. So you had success. So to lose your job under these circumstances, 8 games into the next season where 2 of them was in Europe against Maribor, who were much better than us, and the Old Firm, Celtic and Rangers, to lose your job in the other 4, lose your job, you're saying to yourself, no. But at the time, I wasn't seeing eye to eye with Rod Petrie. I hold no feeling towards him. He run the club, he wanted to in terms of a strained budget, tight, money was tight, and you want to try to recruit and bring players to your club and make it better. And then just one thing, it just folds in, and before you know it, you're out on it. And that was my job. I still feel even now, I think I've got a right good manager in Jack Ross. Jack played for me at Falkirk for 2 or 3 seasons. He's a good lad. But I still think I've got unfinished business at Hibs, even at my age. I really do. But you never know what's for you around the corner. Never say never. And that was probably my 2 hardest times in football, when I got relegated for Hibs and losing my job at Hibs. Without going into too much detail, what was going on behind the scenes, I think that's a little bit unfair to everybody at the club. But it was no, you were really up against it, try to get success on the club.
Obviously, one person we spoke to recently, that'll actually come out before his. We spoke to David Raven, sort of last week, and the first thing he said was about the transition. He really enjoyed it at Liverpool because they played really nice stuff, and when he went to Tranmere and different clubs in League 1, League 2, he never really enjoyed football as much as that. at that style of play. That was until he came to Inverness and sort of played.
Well, first and foremost, you're talking about a guy that's probably... I've talked to you, Rabbi, I don't know how we've been on, I've talked to you and I've sort of gave you an insight into football. My biggest thing in football is meeting people and their character and getting to know them. And you've got so many acquaintances and the laughs and the joke on my phone goes. There comes a time in football where you can count on one hand who's the real proper people. And if I give you an insight to that, there's a boy, David Weir, you know David Weir, played with me at Falkirk. David Weir's one of them. It's just got that, you're a proper guy. Joe McLaughlin has got a bit like that. A boy called Dean Holden, who's now assistant manager down at Bristol City. A guy and David Raven comes into that category. And the thing about David, the reason I'm saying that, is a fantastic professional. He wouldn't be happy if he come onto a training pitch, it wasn't done the best. You understand? And that's what I keep saying to any young coaches. I mentored one or two young coaches and they phone up for a bit of advice and I always say to them, you make sure you get down on your training pitch an hour before. It's your job as a coach, it's your job as a manager. And this is even to make sure that your training pitch is the best that it can be. The lines are on it. And if you have to get into your groundsman and get your lawnmower and take it in the van and cut it yourself, that's what you have to do. All your mannequins are out, all your cones are out, all your bibs are out, because when a player walks on a training pitch, they go like that. These coaches, that when the players walk on a training pitch, they say to the team, go and do 4 or 5 laps of the training. That's because they're not ready. Get your backside down there and get ready. And David Raven expected that of you. He was that professional. He walked on that training pitch. He wanted to be the best it could be. Then, trust me, Ben, we've not got enough time to talk about this because this is my bugbear in football. Then, it's doing it properly. It's playing football. I'm no one here to go, no, bang the drum and everybody to their own. Everybody to their own. Plenty of ways of skinning a cat. Good on them. I'm not here to have a go at anyone. But I've seen so many teams get success all different ways. I'm talking about me. Me, my philosophy. You come to my football club, you better get on that ball and pass it. What I'll do, I'll put the training sessions on to stimulate you. Every day you're going home and driving back in that car, you'll be sitting next to your teammate and say, did you get what he was on about today? Because you better, because the next game they'll be questioning you because I'm educating on you. I'm educating you. I'm making the game easier. But what I'm asking you to do is get on the ball, pass it and get it back. So many players I see get it, they boot it 60 yards. You know why they do that? Because they don't want to get it back. If I pass here, they might give me it back and I might give it away in the next pass. So what? I'm not bothered. So what? Get on the ball and pass. And if you've got a philosophy and you've got a mindset and you've got a buy-in from everybody at your club, you cannot get beat. And it's not about winning games. Honestly, this is, everybody goes, oh, winning games keeps you in the job and winning games buys you time to do what you want to do. I get it, I get it, right. It's about the philosophy and getting your style of play and then the results come. And see when they do, you're off and running. And don't forget, you can turn up and play a team that's a little bit more direct and they'll beat you and they'll beat you sometimes convincingly. But at least I'm going in with a philosophy. And that's what David Raven's on about. You come here and you're taking care of him and you're saying, David, this is your passes, this is your rotations, this is what I want from you. And probably, I'll tell you a story, David Raven, the semi-final of the Scottish Cup, the way we played, 2 full-backs going at the same time playing as wingers, and the winning goal, shinny, combination, link-up play down the left, cuts it right across the 6-yard box, and who's coming in the far post? David Raven, boom, full-back to full-back to beat Celtic in the Scottish Cup. Going into the final, David Raven was struggling with an injury. So I says to him, I'll give you right up to cup final day, David, to see if you're fit. The kind of professional he is, he says, thanks very much. He come to me the day before, he says, I'm not going to make it. I says, I'll tell you what I'll do, sit on the substitutes bench. He went, are you sure? He says, I'll put you down as sub. He come to me the next game day, the morning of the game, he says, Gaffer, I'm not want to do that. He says, I'm not fit to play. I'm not fit to sit on the substitutes bench. You need to give it to somebody else. That's a professional. Wasn't thinking about himself. He was thinking about the team. That's it. That's why I put him up there. Other guys will say, "Oh, great, Gaffer, I want to be involved." That's the kind of guy that you're dealing with. And at the end, my time at Falkirk, because the budget was tight, you're ducking and diving. And I'm a big believer in when you got centre halves, you need a right for me. You need a right to play on right side. You need a left to play on left side. Peter Hartley, Motherwell. I had Peter Hartley lined up to come to Inverness, left side centre half. What I was going to do, Josh Meekins played left side centre half, but Josh Meekins was one of the fittest at the club. He was a flying machine, and I was wanting to turn him into a right back, and we were starting to play him right back, and he was just starting to get used to it. But because the budget was tight, somebody has to give, and it was sort of David Raven. I'm saying, well, Joshua's got to play right back and all that stuff, and it was. And thankfully, eventually I sort of had to move on for the club. You see all these good players leaving in terms of Shinnies and Christie's and Marley Watkins. And you see your club and you see it going that way and you're struggling and injuries. And these young kids are not coming through like Polworth and Christie and you're going, and you just feel it's time to move on. But David Raven, what a professional he was. Absolutely fantastic. And he still should be in coaching. There's a place for David Raven in coaching. He should have still been in a coach at Inverness. They should have sort of looked at it and said, listen, could we get you in the academy somewhere? Because he's going to be a good manager one day. He really is. And I'm not just saying that. He's going to be a good manager because he's a clever boy, David. He's clever.
No, he came across that way, didn't he? He was like, he does, he works in sort of like an English equivalent, a performance school based.
See the thing about it, see as a manager, see when you go in and you're putting your players' charter and basically you're putting your rules in and the players will put their hand up to it. What you're doing is you're facilitating the meeting. You're still getting over how your club want to run. But all the players are that's what a professional should do. So as soon as they put their hand up and sign up, you then drop the players' charter, right? Then it's up to these guys to police it. You as a manager, you don't want them to go and and keep banging heads together. It's up to these guys to police the dressing room and to police these strong characters. So your job's easy or not. And David Raven was one of them. He could police your dressing room. And it wasn't a case of, hey, come here, that's not the way you train, that's not the way you... So you could go to your 4 or 5 senior pros that police your dressing room and say, come here, see that young boy? I'm watching him for a week. He's walking off that training pitch and he's walking off and he's not got nothing under his arm and tells you mannequins, cones, bibs, balls. Thinks he's a professional, thinks he's made the grade, swan in a boot. See you next to game day. Any young kid want to do that again, they 4. Or David Ray, here, get the mannequins, get them in the transit van, get them in the porter cabin, they have to be put away. And that keeps these guys grounded. These guys police it. David Raven come into that category.
Brilliant. Obviously, sort of your last spell in management is Raith Rovers. For me, you got a bit of a rough ride there, to be honest, just with the way things worked out in the end. I don't know what your thoughts were on that.
No, what happened at Raith Rovers? I'm talking about, you can talk about obviously the Celtic and all that stuff and playing for Hibs and captaining Hibs and managing Celtic and Scottish Cup finals. And you can talk about the successes teams in Europe, and I'll blow my own trumpet here. 2 for the first time in the history, albeit Falkirk and Inverness. So we all blow our own trumpet and take all the good. Oh, I'm brilliant, look at me. When it goes bad, you have to take the punch on the nose. You have to take the punch on the nose. So we're all great at taking all the plaudits. And I take that for Raith Rovers. I take it right flush punch right on the nose. But what I will say is, don't judge me on 14 games at Raith Rovers. When I went into a club that hadn't won a game at the end of October, I went in on February. The window was closed, so I couldn't bring players in. The confidence was gone. I couldn't get the time to get my style of football into it. And even at that, I still think the win percentages was better than Lockie's who was the previous manager. But I'm not going to shy away from it. I'll take full responsibility. I'm not going to, it doesn't make me dislike Raith Rovers or anything like that. No matter what happens, I was never going to be the manager even if we stayed up. It was going in to help them out. That's what I got asked, can you come in? And it never worked out. It's simple as that. It never worked out. What's the frustrating thing to me is on the training pitch, you could see it coming together. But when they went on the game on a Saturday, they lost the confidence to go and do it. And yet, when we come to the big boys like Hibs, you know, we always gave Hibs a game. We drew them at Raith. We should have drew with them at Easter Road. We beat Dundee United. And you're saying to yourself, St Mirren, although they were bottom, Jack had them going, and we beat them. And you're saying to yourself, aye. And then, I've said this, I've no many excuses. When I won the Scottish Cup at Inverness, we had no injuries whatsoever. The only one was injured was Richie Foran. Everyone was fit, momentum, confidence. When you're down on your luck, it's the opposite. Everybody's injured. And if you look at my injury list at Raith Rovers, the two best players were injured. Scott Robertson, who was the best player, played for Scotland, Dundee United, never played. He played the last half hour of the last playoff game. And Ross Callaghan, it's up at St Johnstone, broke his wrist, never played for the last 2 months. And Lewis Vaughan, who was on loan at Raith Rovers, on loan at Dumbarton, scoring goals for Dumbarton, who's in direct opposition to you, to keep them up, and we get relegated. Comes back to Raith Rovers after his loan, next again year, albeit a league down, and he just about gets the golden boot, 28 goals. But when you come in and train during the week, he was the best player, one of the best players on the training pitch, and you're left going like that. But as I say, I take it. I've no nothing bitter or nothing. I just really the Raith Rovers supporters, and I'm not patronising here, and I'll say that because they were always behind the team. And it's quite easy for a club like Raith Rovers, all the local boys, to jump on the bus, go and watch Celtic, go and watch Rangers, like a lot of these boys, these supporters stay loyal to the club, loyal to the community. And I'm delighted at the back where they are, really am. And as I say, one of them that you have to take on the chin. Has it harmed me? I think it has. Because people's perception, it's the way they look at it, people's perception, you get one or two new press guys that you didn't quite get on with it, feel, oh, I can do a bit and do Yogi in and do him some harm and discrimination, and these guys shouldn't sleep at night, these guys, because it's not a true reflection or perception on who you are. And then if you look at all the other managers, if you look at Neil Lennon, never done great doing Bolton, pick somebody else. If you look at Jack, you know, you could say Sunderland, Derek McInnes, Bristol City. There's so Robbie Nielsen doing at NK Dons. There's so many managers that have went somewhere and had what I've just talked about, had the whole windows, bring the recruitment order, and never done it. Had that bad year. And then the careers kicked on again. And yet I get judged on 14 games at Raith Rovers. So I think it's a bit unfair, but listen, I'm a big strong boy. I got on with it. It doesn't stop me enjoying life and doing the things I wanted to do. And the thing about it, and it might have played a part in it as well, when I left Inverness, I've got a real obsessive personality. If I go into cycling, it's like I want to be the Tour de France. I'm 50 miles a day, 7 days a week. I'll strip the weight back down because you have to be light on the bike, and I'm doing it away with 13 stone. That if I go into golf, it's morning, afternoon, practice, this, videos, all that stuff. Now I'm into pumping iron and I want to be Mr. Universe, and I'm away back up to 15.5 stone. So when I go into football, it is 24/7. Ask anybody that's worked with me, it's 24/7. Don't put your phone off, because I need you, and we're at it, and it's 24/7 and we're at it. And I just felt after Inverness, being away from the family for 2.5 years, the wife was still down in Edinburgh, her parents were in a nursing home suffering with dementia, the two of them. She had the kids coming up at the age of 14, teenagers, you know what they're like. And what I did when I was at Inverness, I'd rarely come home. Even we were playing, if we played Motherwell, it could be easy for me just to come down in the car I would go back in the team bus and go back up because I wanted to show the players my commitment. I'm not here being part-time. I'm committed to use. I'm one of yous. And I seen the strain on my wife. So after that and the wee bits and pieces that happened at the end, Inverness, the players leaving, budget, I'm saying to myself, I need to go back and give my missus. And I come back, I says, I promised her. I says, I'll come back and I'm going to take a year off, maybe a year and a half. The Wraith Rovers hadn't come up. It was just the note at the end of the season. She says, go for it. And maybe I never went in there that motivated 24/7 John Hughes. I still gave it everything I've got, you know, and all that stuff. But maybe it was that, maybe the batteries were still a little bit dry. One thing I'll say now, looking at and talking to you guys and doing all this, that enthusiasm and the batteries and staying up with all the trends and what's going on in Scottish football and all that stuff and still drawing up all training plans and talking. I've never, in all my time in football now, and even got one or two things to prove, you never doubt John Hughes. That's your fuel. Was that right? Oh, come on, I need a wee bit more. You've still not given me the fuel to get back. Somebody else gives you somebody else. And, oh no, is that right? Is that right? Thanks very much, right. That's the tank full. Let's get going. I'll show you what I've got. I'll show you what I've got. And all I need is a chairman or a board of directors that really know their football, know what they're watching, not just win, to say, that's the style of football I'm wanting right through my club. Who's the best guy for it? And if they do that, I've got a chance of getting a job. But an understanding goes here. And I'll tell you, they'll not get a guy more motivated than I am right at this moment in time. Saying that, for the last year and a half, last couple of years, I've been trying to get abroad. I fancied America. I've been trying to get there, and I'm no want to be in it, you know, doing and getting there and getting the coaching, see a different culture, see if what you bring to the table is different for theirs, because I've got my philosophy, it'll never leave me. I could talk about it for hours and hours, you know, all the rotations, what the goalie does, fullback does, is what David Raven says. I get coaches asking how you do it, what you do, and all that stuff. So I've been trying to get abroad, and I've been close. In the last 3 months, I've been close to 2. Real close to 2 abroad. It would have done me. But then you're sitting saying, you want to know something? All the doubters out there, you know, why do you not go and do it in Scotland? Why do you not go and do it in Scotland and take them all on again? Because if you look what I did at Inverness and what I did at Falkirk, so-called provincial clubs, no great budget, you know what you have to do? You have to coach them. You have to motivate them, you have to stimulate them. Never been a checkbook manager, and the whole time in management, I've spent 250 grand and 135 grand of that was on Stokes, buying them for Hibs. Coach them, see what I've got, get loans, and that's what we've done. So that's what I think I can bring back to the table, just getting that opportunity.
Well, there's a job opening in Dundee if you fancy it.
There's a job, might be a job opening in Motherwell if your manager goes to.
We don't want. Let's just put the brakes on the new, right? Let's put the brakes on it. Let's send you to Dundee. We're going to keep you at Lanarkshire now.
It's an Irish job.
By the way, see if he gets that. We were speaking about it on another podcast we did this morning. See if he gets that, fair play to him, because
he's done a great job. But there's another manager never done great down at Oldham. Comes back and gets it, you know, and never. It just seems that you know, I'm the one that the stigma sticks with, and I don't know. And maybe people's perception. You know, I say it how it is. I don't know one of these managers that come out and they go, "Oh, my team try to do this and they play great football," and you watch it and you go, "I've just watched a game of rugby. If my team's been rubbish, I come out and I say my team were rubbish. It's like watching a rugby team." You know, and I say it how it is, and that's it. I think that's a wee bit old school, but I watch them all now and how they conduct themselves and all that stuff. You've always got your eye on the ball. And I still think there's a place for men in football. I honestly do. But it's getting the opportunity. And I'm getting older. And I love to see all these young guys coming through. I coach for the SFA. So if you're coming on to do your B badge and A badge, I'm your tutor. So I'm helping you. And I see all these young coaches that are getting their badges, and there's some absolute brilliant coaches coming through. So if you get an old guy like me standing in their way, you know, these guys will never get the chance. So that's the way football evolves, and that's the way it goes. But I'd love to get back into it in the SPL, taking on them all, and getting stuck into Lenny and getting stuck into Gerrard and all these guys, taking a team to Ibrox and Parkhead and see if you can get their scalp. It's always been a challenge to me. Never always happens. 9 times out of 10, you get your backside felt. But many a times I've went there and, you know, manager Mark McGee says after a game, you know, went on record at Motherwell saying, when you play in Inverness, it's like playing against Celtic. The rotations away.
That quote down my boxing.
But he says it.
Scottish Cup game, wasn't it?
But Ben, you'll not get managed. Managers will not say it. Why are they scared to give other managers the credit that they deserve? But Mark says it. Mark says it. Ronnie Dyler says it. But you need, what I need is, you know, everybody to their own. Everybody, listen, I'm a football guy. I like to see, I'm a purist. I like to see it. Everything starts with the goalkeeper. And I can talk about it because I've had success doing it. You speak to any old players and they'll say the football and the education that they've got. That's it. That's for me as a coach. That's what you have to do. There's other managers that play different style. It's everyone. It's horses for courses. But I'm just hoping there's a club out there and go, listen, I'm wanting a manager that's for my academy right through to the first team. They play a style of football. It's going to stay with us for the next 20, 30, 40 years. And a board of directors that go, even in defeat, by the way, Rangers, when they beat us in the Scottish Cup final, 1-0 with Falkirk, we passed them off the park. But you're up against two guys, Coyster and Walter, that just know how to get over the finishing line. Rangers. I'm sitting there getting beaten, but I'm going, I'm so proud of my team because we dominated the ball. And if I can get a board of directors that look at that and go, then there's every chance I might get back in.
James, you get anything to add?
Aye, I do. I've got one that I need to ask. Actually, I've got two that I do.
James, there, before you ask a question, just going back to sort of youth team Rangers.
Yes.
Steven Gerrard changed the whole philosophy of Rangers, the style we play in the football. So see me as a football guy, I'm sitting watching and I'm going, fantastic. I went to watch Rangers kids against Atletico Madrid. Mm-hmm. And Atletico Madrid were too good for him. They had, I forget the wee boys, what a player he was. Two of them had played. When he went off, the Rangers fans got up and applauded him.
Fantastic.
Right? But do you want to know, see Rangers kids, Rangers kids play football. They get it down, they pass it. I've seen the coach playing against Inverness. Mm-hmm. Right? And I'm saying, they're everywhere. He's good. They pure win the game. I've seen it and I'm saying, so Rangers in the first team, they're doing it right. They're doing something right at Rangers. And that's all credit to Steven Gerrard. I'm not sitting here patronising. You know what I'm saying? Good. That's the way football should be played. And that goes for it. But it's everybody to their own. Celtic play football. Hibs play a bit of football. And then you go up against Aberdeen and they're a wee bit mixed. You know, they play football and they'll be up against you and you sort of say to yourself, how do I overcome that? You know, but so it's everybody to their own. But so anyway, so let me go. Give you a bit of credit.
I went down to see the Colts when they played against Solihull in the Challenge Cup earlier in the season, and it was Tim Flowers was their manager, and he said the same. He was like, we expected these boys to come down and to be like young and experienced young laddies. They played football, and they get caught us out something awful. We did not expect that.
And if you think I'm over on here rambling and not give you a chance to ask a question, it's just enthusiasm and passion. You ought to see us when me and Colin sit together. We can't get a word in either. The next thing in minute, there's cups getting moved out of the way and get that here and there and two. Because it's in you. It's a passion. It's in you. It's in you. It's. I get all these guys and so well educated, miles educated than me. All I wanted to do when I was at school was be a footballer, and great and all that. But I said to John, I said, do you want to know something, John? And he's an educator. I said, want to know something? We've reached the top of our profession. You've got the PhD in university. You've reached the top of what your profession is, to building teams, coaching teams, and going winning. Because he won the League Cup with Hibs. and get in there. Nobody can take it from you. So somebody says he talks a load of shit. Right, okay, well, do you want to know something? Go and have a look. There's 3 cup finals, 3 teams into Europe, all this stuff. And any player that comes on, I'll tell you, total football. That's why I sleep at night.
I need to ask you about Russell, just because I live just outside Falkirk, so I'm well aware of his social life. How is it?
I'm going to tell you something. It was an absolute. I could not have done what we did at Falkirk if it wasn't for Russell Latapi. I knew him like the back of my hand, being a player at Hibs with him. He got changed right next to me on the peg. I knew all his habits. He was outstanding. Everybody, I've said this, right, and I'll stand and I'll get knocked down for bigger and better than me, guys like that. And I'll go, he talks some pish, right? Fair enough, okay, right? I'm going to tell you, Russell Latapi was the best player I've ever played with, best player I've ever coached. He was right up there, every bit as good as all your greats, Emmanuel and Paul Scholes and all these guys. He was magnificent. So what I'm saying was he talks, how does he never play for Manchester United and Liverpool? That's something that I go, I'm talking about pure raw technical ability. What he could do with a football, it was unbelievable. You wouldn't know if he's left foot, if he was right foot. I seen him doing things on a training pitch that you would go, wow. I seen him doing things in the SPL top flight that you go, wow. Maverick. Russell Latapi wasn't the best runner in the world. And what I'm saying with that, if it's just pure out adulterate running, 20-minute runs and all that, that's no Russell Latapi. You bring a ball out on a training pitch and play with a football, and the kids are playing next to him. See, when the first team's finished, he wants to join in with the kids. Just wants to play football. So that's what you don't to get Russell Latapi fit. Just put the ball out there.
That was something that happened when I was down doing the coaching stuff at Little Kerse. It was with Tam Elliott. And Tam, Pauline Hamill. And right. Who else was it? Davy Henry.
Aye, well, that was all the community.
Aye, so it was these 3 that was doing it with us. And so I think it was 12 years that were getting picked for this course by the council. And you had been out doing your training in the morning. And then Russell saw us doing our wee drills. And he came and joined in, and you just watched him doing things with a ball. It was a wizard. It was terrifying.
And the thing about these guys, and it's the same with DeCano and Collins and all, everybody thinks all these guys they're the most humble guys. I found the higher you went up, DeCano's and all these Van Hooijdonks, Collins, McStays, all these guys like Tappy, Sozy, they're more humble than the players doing in the lower divisions that want to swanny about hanging, hey, you guys, got something about themselves. The higher they go up, they're more humble. Russell would do anything for you, give you the last penny in his pocket. And at the time, we were bringing a lot of Portuguese guys over. And the way Russell looked after these guys, and the spirit he built up with them, and all the families and the girlfriends, and looked after them. And it was never hard to handle. The only thing about Russell was, I'll tell you a few stories. You would be in doing your team talk at maybe, just before you went in and say, right, and you'd be going saying, Russell, you'd be going through and say, you know what your job is? You'd be, quite, you know what your job is? And you'd say, mind if we get in Russell, and you say, where's Russell? And all the boys, everyone in there, man, would go like that. They'd be in the toilet in the cubicle having a fag. And you would be going to play against Celtic at Parkhead. This is when they were there. He would go out and no one would get near him. He'd be man in the match. He would just do that, just wee shimmy, that wee turn of the shoulder, that wee, and you would go, this guy's unbelievable. I say to you, everything we done at Falkirk, he was the catalyst. Because if I tell you my strikers at Falkirk, right from the beginning, and I got this for Sir Alex Ferguson on one of these manager conferences that we got lucky to got invited up to Glen Eagles. Arsene Wenger was there. It was all way back. Sir Alex was there. And you pick up these wee nuggets. And I can remember him always saying, get goal scorers, get strikers in your team, even ones coming off your bench. And if you look what he done, York and Cole and Solskjaer and Teddy Sheringham. My strikers at Falkirk, I started off with Darryl Duffy, Andy Thompson, brilliant. Russell behind them. and then went on to Alan Gill, Anthony Stokes, Russell behind him. I then went on to Pedro Martino, Carol Finnegan, Russell behind him. And right at the end, it was Michael Higdon and Stevie Lovell. All great strikers. Michael Higdon, what he'd done at your club at Motherwell, brilliant, great lad. It was us that brought him up. Us that brought him up. Russell Latapi behind him. He was a catalyst for everything we did. Everything we did. And then I used to say to the boys, listen, Russell got away with murder, but the boys knew it could be your match winner, and he was a genius. So they put up with it in terms of the programme at assays what we done at Livingston, in the gym every afternoon, squatting, building up the leg, trying to get quicker, counter movement, jump, all that stuff. We were right into that. Russell used to say to me, if you ever see me in a gym or ask me to go in a gym, that's me finished. So we never asked him to go in the gym. We never asked him to go in the gym. But he would be at the training pitch coaching the kids, pinging balls about and all that stuff. And no trouble whatsoever, Russell Latapi. The only thing is, it was probably his lifestyle that maybe never took him to the top, because he linked a few beers as well.
Oh, he certainly did. I've bumped into him many of an evening in Falkirk. Quite a few nights in Rosie's. I was like, oh, it's Russell.
I'll tell you a story. This is a true story, right? We were doing a pre-season. I think it was Russell's last season at Falkirk. We were in at Stirling University and we're doing a pre-season. And we're all doing 200. We've got them in groups and they're doing 200-metre runs. And they're just finished. We're doing half a dozen or something and we're just finishing. So they were all getting together. So the whole group, before you know, it's doing a warm down around this track. And they're coming down. Russell's no training. He's got a sore back. He's injured. Chipper nudges me, Brian Rice, says, have a look at this. Scorching hot. Russell's walking down towards us. He's got the sunglasses on. We've got his t-shirt on, shorts, flip-flops, and he's on the phone. And he's walking down. And the boys are, I'm saying, oh no, how do I handle this? How do I handle this? It just gets to me, right? But I'm just about to turn around and walk him away. The boys get to the bottom corner. One of the boys shouted, Russell, this is a true story. Russell, any chance of you getting in with the boys and doing a little bit? Russell put the phone down a bit like this. Hold it 1 minute. Put the phone down. He says, listen, lads, you carry the piano, I'll play the piano. And that's a true story. Only I just went like that. And I just started laughing. And to be fair, all the boys went like that.
He's right.
You're right.
What a brilliant quote that is, by the way. I'm going to use that for this podcast.
I can remember playing against Dundee United. Craig Brewster was the manager. It was the first game of the season up at Tannadice. Russell's running amok in midfield, pulling the strings. And he's clever. He's so clever in his positioning and his head and just standing still. And he's clever. And he's running amok. And the assistant manager was a boy called Malky Thompson. It used to be at Hibs when we were there. And I could hear him shouting on to Craig Brewster, listen, Latapi, you need somebody, you need to get to Latapi. And Brewster goes, I'll drop in the midfield on her. The worst decision ever made, honestly, because Russell just gave me the wink. The thumbs in this, Russell, and he just run Big Brew all over the place. So before Brewster's known it, Brewster then has to go back and defend because he stands still, and he was just so clever and he coming, every day in training. Even I can remember the first day at Hibs, the whisper was we had a try list up at Brecon. The gaffer took him out, Alec McLeish took him off after an hour. He was that good. So the next game day, we're in, we hear all the whisper. He comes in, gets changed, go on the training pitch, warm up, into the boxes. We're 2 minutes into the boxes. I'm diving in, nutmeg, dived in again, nutmeg, the other one, Latapi. I just looked at him and I says, you little. I just started, and that stupid laugh he has, he just, and that was us. For that moment, me and him friends. That was the quality I had. The other time at the chairman, I seen a guy on the training pitch passing the ball, and he takes it on his chest, and it's stuck there. You know, he's sort of hunched over, and it's sticking, and he just rolled it on the back of his neck, and it's on the back of his neck. Rolls it down the back and back heels it, and the chairman standing looking, saying, "You see that? You see that?" I go, "Chairman, he does that every day." Honestly, that was the kind that he was. And his left foot was just as good as his right foot. Really, really missed. I laugh. I'm going to have to finish because I laugh right now. His two best mates are Yorkie and Lara. You know, Brian Lara. When I left Hibs, I went into the pub game and me and my brother bought a pub. And I got back in touch with Russell at Hibs. I said, any chance of coming in? He says, I'll come down on Saturday. I never thought any more of it. I'm serving pints, doing all that, trying to keep all the locals happy. The doors open up. In walks Latapi, Brian Lara, and 5 or 6'5", West Indies fast bowlers. The West Indies were playing in Edinburgh, playing the cricket. Lara and Latapi, bestie mates, right? And he stayed in the pub for about 2 or 3 hours. That's the kind of guy Russell Latapi is. Absolute genius. Brian Lara, the legend cricketer.
Oh God, aye.
Just sitting there as one of the boys. How you doing? Oh, give me a drink. Give me one of the boys. And Russell like that, thinking nothing know it, and you're going like that, and all the boys going. A couple of the locals going, that's Brian. And photographs, all that stuff. So humble, unbelievable. What a guy. And as I say I've got to finish, but what I do laugh at now is the manager. The last I heard is the manager of the national team in Barbados.
Yep.
And I think York is the assistant manager. Is that right?
He's landed on his feet there.
I laugh at it. I just go like, oh no. That's Russell. That would suit Russell right down to the T.
You know the team bonding nights would be cracking.
Well, see when Yorkie, when we were at Falkirk and Yorkie used to come up, it wasn't him and Yorkie out if they were going a night out in Glasgow.
Everybody.
It was the whole squad, all the Falkirk. Come on, lads, we're all going out. It wasn't a case of me and Yorkie. The whole lot of them were out. They were all out and jumping about and all that stuff. That's just the kind of guy he is. I can't speak highly enough of him. And some of the stuff he done on a training pitch was unbelievable. Don't go near him. He'll nutmeg you. Used to nutmeg me every day. And a funny boy to boot. A real funny boy. Some of the stuff he'd done at the Hibs at the time. Remember him hitting a pass over the top and you think it's running through, the midfielder running on it, and it actually had backspin on it. Come back away for the boy to put it in. He was a genius.
What a hero. James, you get anything to add?
I'm good.
John, what a hero yourself, and there's not many characters in the game like you, and it's been an absolute pleasure.
Well, it's been a pleasure, guys, a real pleasure. I've enjoyed doing it, so hopefully I'll give you a wee insight into sort of what goes on. And I keep saying this as well, you know, everybody, all the supporters, football's glamorous, it's great and all that. It's not always glamorous when you're in it, it's hard work. It's hard work and the emotions are all over the place and, you know, you've got your family and all that, but it's all part and parcel of the game. I can always remember Jim McLean saying, a quote for Jim McLean saying that's his biggest regret in football. It took up his life 24/7 and never spent so much time with his family. That was my promise to my wife, get back with the kids. See now, the kids are 18 and they're tapping me for 20 quid every day. I'm like, oh, get me back.
Sick of the sight of you.
Dad, can I get 20 quid? 20 quid. I'm like, get me back to fucking football, honest. Fucking enough of that, we've no money.
I hope you're back in it soon, and thanks for watching this. Subscribe
and
to
I wish you all the best, guys, all right?
Cheers, John.
Cheers, guys. Hail the Hibs.